Welcome back to the UFO Disclosure Symposium preview. We are getting ready to announce all the speakers and presenters and people that are appearing at the symposium and on the panels. And today I have the one and only Michele Meiners, who actually lives and works up in the Uinta Basin, right where the symposium is being held. Michele, I'm so glad to have you here today. How are you doing?
Doing good, Carl. How are you today? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to talk to you. We actually talk a lot off camera and have become good friends. So I'm excited you're going to be there at the symposium and you get to present. You've done a lot of work up there. So just to give everybody kind of a prelude to who you are and get to know you a little bit, tell everyone what you do up there and how you've gotten involved in all of this.
Well, it's interesting. I've worked up in the Uinta Basin for almost 6 years. I worked on some previous projects that had to do with investigating the culture up there with the Native Americans and also phenomena. And also, I'm working in partnership with a program called the UAPES program with Dr. Segala, who is also going to be present at the UFO Disclosure Symposium. What we've done is we're researching the electromagnetic energy that occurs up there, positive and negative electro energies up there that affect people's bodies and lives. And we're gathering a lot of information. So that's what's really brought me up to that area.
In every one of our conversations, I'm always fascinated because you're so connected in the area as far as the cultural history of the region and also with at a high level of scientific research that's going on around there. And so you're kind of bringing both worlds together and having this perspective of the ancient history and how that applies to the region, as well as the modern scientific approach to it. So how have you been able to approach that? What kind of scientific research are you guys doing up in the basin now?
Well, basically, when I started in the Uinta Basin, one of the things that I went through was some experiences of my own. Having been hit with a radioactive wavelength, I created in my life some sort of trauma to my body, which I had to overcome. Not to say that that's what the Uinta Basin's all about. It's just basically it was one of the experiences I had being up there and then getting acquainted with the local folklore, individual personalities up there was another interesting experience. We've lost a couple of them due to death of their age, but it was a really great experience. And then you would hear their scientific stories behind the experiences that I was having. To name such one, it was Junior Hicks. I like to give Junior a lot of the credit for gathering the stories, especially with the Native Americans who went to him confidentially as they were experiencing certain stories about paranormal or skinwalkers and UAPs, such and so forth. It was a great friendship.
So you've worked a lot with the Native American groups and First Nations people to try and help understand the phenomenon and then communicate between them and the researchers and scientists and help merge those two worlds together. It's absolutely fascinating to me. What could you say about the cultural significance of the area? Because when people come to the convention or they watch on the live stream, they may not realize that the symposium itself is being held in an actual hotspot, and you've experienced that even yourself.
Yeah, the thing that they can come and there's certain areas of the Uinta Basin that has its own energy personalities. One being such as Blindfrogranch. I've been a guest many times up there with Dwayne Ollinger and Chad Ollinger, and they have been very gracious to allow me to go up there and experience certain events and experiences. I know for the enthusiast who's out there wanting to know what's in the Uinta Basin, I had an opportunity, if it's okay to share, about a film gig I did last summer with the Weather Channel. I was able to produce a episode 8 on a new show called Uncharted Adventures. And while we were up there as a crew over there by Mosby's Creek, we had our own phenomena experience that happened while we were there with UAPs and some entities.
Hmm.
And we caught photographic evidence of it. And that's one of the things that came across from that experience. So most of my experiences have been all over the Uinta base, but as part as the Native American aspect of it, there have been many who have talked to me about their personal experiences. A lot of the times, the natives do not like to talk about their experiences unless it's a one-to-one situation. And I'm sure Junior Hicks experienced the exact same thing.
Yeah. And, a lot of the other interviews that I've done and people that are coming to present at the symposium have the same viewpoint, like James Keenan and L.A. Marzulli have this understanding that the ancient history and the cultural significance in the region and the people that dwelt there have something to do with the current phenomenon that we're seeing both on the ground in the local community and in the sky and things that are happening to people. And you are working with Jim and other researchers to try and piece all of that together, because everybody would like it to be separate, but it's really not. It's happening to everyone. And most the people who've been living there the longest are the Native American people there that have dealt with this for a long time or involved in it. It's very fascinating to me. So you're going to be there at the symposium and on a panel and presenting. Can you give everybody kind of a hint of what you're going to like to discuss or anything that you're going to be doing there?
Well, yeah, I'd like to discuss that there is an interesting thing that has occurred with the tribe, and it was a personal experience shared with me about sound and resonance, how sometimes resonance and sound can also call in these particular entities. And one of the songs that is played at one of their ceremonial powwows, they purposely play this particular sound base, and it draws in a beam from up the sky down to the ground. And I have actually seen that beam come down, that light. So I'd like to touch base on that as far as how resonance and sound can really does make a difference when you're out in the Uinta Basin.
Right. And we've talked about that before off camera before too, because a lot of my research, when I go out to look at ancient sites and petroglyphs, I've noticed that like every time I come across these locations, there's a sound quality, an echo resonance quality to them, where you say a word and it sounds like there's multiple people in the canyon. The way the whole, where they pick these locations seems significant to the harmony and the resonance that occurs. So that's really fascinating. But you've witnessed this. So Michele,
Yes.
when I come up there at the symposium, are we going to get the opportunity maybe to go up to Blind Frog and try this out? Or is this something that has to be done very in a specific way?
No, I think we can somehow maybe bring in a couple of Uinta Basin Native American drummers
Hmm.
to actually would be a more of a blessing song to bless the land, to bless the area, bless us being up there. We could probably bring that tonal uh, sound to the area, to Blind Frog, and see what shows up.
That's really fascinating, because you hear a lot of different theories. There's, Stephen Greer has his idea of the CE5, and the Stanford Research Institute. They worked with programs with remote viewing and the Gateway. And when you start to piece all that together and realize that the, ancient cultures and Native American cultures have kind of accessed this knowledge for a long time and been tapping into it in their customs and spiritual practices, and we've forgotten that, or we've never known that, or it's been kept sacred to them. So it's very mind-blowing how it all ties together and answers so many questions.
Yeah,
it really does.
It does.
But you're not just relying upon that. Also, you're working with like Jim Segala and doing actual scientific measuring. So maybe you can talk about that just a little bit, how you're capturing the evidence of the phenomenon when it does occur.
Yeah, we have specific people around the area. I even have one in my home. It's called a muapis. It's a unit about the size of a bottle jar and such. I'm sure Jim has talked about that to you in length on your show before. but the evidence we're gathering is we notice that when participants are about to have an experience, the charts, the gamma rays, the electromagnetic readings come back and they spike. And I've noticed that with myself too, if something happens here. So, one great example is we had a mini earthquake about a couple of years ago, and it woke me up out of a rest. And sure enough, it registered on those graphs that we monitor every day. So that kind of phenomena, we've come to find out a little bit that that it follows the individual. So somehow the individual is tied into that, and that phenomena. We don't know how that works yet. We just know that it follows the person. So there might be a tie into that. Whether it's are we being watched? Are we being followed? Are we being scrutinized just as much as we're scrutinizing back the area of the waves itself, connected
It's almost
to the
like
people
something, once the phenomenon occurs or is witnessed, it attaches to that
Yes,
individual in sort of a way.
yes,
Oh, wow.
yes. And we seem to have either a paranormal or UAP experience after that. Once it registers on the scale on the graphs.
Right,
So it's a
Jim.
really interesting.
Yeah, Dr. Segal was talking about that, how they'll have people report that they see a UFO in the sky or have a sighting or experience or paranormal experience even in their home. And they report that, and you guys can go back and look at the data and confirm that there was anomalies actually measured and kind of analyze that data, even follow a flight path where something seemed to have moved over the Uinta Basin that can be kind of tracked. It's fascinating to me. And so now we have, fast forward to now, we have 4 new pieces of military grade footage that are going to be revealed at this symposium, and we're going to get to see them and analyze them. Is there anything about that footage that you're excited or looking for, that you're really interested in?
Well, what's really interesting, it was the area that it was caught. I want to know where the area was that they saw this particular phenomena, and to report the fact that that's not what they were looking for. They were just monitoring the area for illegal activity. And so then when that was caught, I'm sure that was really surprising to them, but really understanding what their feelings about their experience is what I'm really looking forward to.
So the experiencers themselves, the ones that obtain the footage and things like that. Yeah, very fascinating. I agree.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Michele, we've talked a little bit off camera about kind of issuing a good intention towards the symposium of maybe
Right.
Having the symposium create or manifest a positive interaction or experience for everyone that attends or that is viewing coming to the symposium. Maybe we can talk about that for just a minute and set a positive intention for everyone. Would you like to do that?
I would love to, Carl. That would be wonderful.
We were talking about, there's a lot of people that are interested in coming. Some people are nervous and curious about the phenomenon and UFOs. They're scared of, things attaching to them if they're coming to the basin. So Michele and I discussed maybe just setting a positive mindset or prayerful, meditative intention, whatever how you approach the phenomenon, to manifest something that everyone can experience and agree upon and witness and have a really amazing experience or encounter, or maybe even a sighting occur while in the basin. So it's validating for everyone who attends. So is there anything you'd like to add to that, Michele?
Sure. I'd like to, while we're there, engage in a Native American blessing. Because I think, if we're talking about an indigenous culture, very much like the Native Americans, if our star brothers or sisters, and I say it that way rather than extraterrestrials, that's kind of a new agey kind of term, have been around us for millennia, we want to engage, again, to the blessings that they're probably very familiar with already for millennia, and maybe have taught us in my indigenous culture some of these blessings.
Hmm. What can we do leading up to the symposium to maybe prepare to manifest such a wonderful thing?
I think I know that for you, it's a meditative state. You go into a meditation and connecting to things that are very close to your heart and mind. For me, it's Native American prayer, Native American, burning the sage, the cedar, the sweetgrass. It could be for other people. It could be for them, whatever they make it. And so having them really, it's the thought of prayer and
Mm,
meditation that sets
beautiful.
those intentions. Hmm.
I can't wait, Michelle. I'm going to start doing that now, and looking forward to the event and anything that may occur that we may manifest with everybody getting on the same page with positive intentions. So I'm excited to see you there, Michelle, and be able to hang out with you and maybe go up to the ranch and participate in all of these amazing things. And so I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited about this particular first event.
It's going to be fun. So it's May 27th through the 29th. If you don't have your tickets already, make sure and get over to the UFO Disclosure Symposium and get your tickets now, either to attend in person and participate in all of this, or you can watch it live online, and we'll see you there.
Thanks, Carl.